Hi, everybody. Welcome to class. Before we begin, I'm going to cover section 9.2. I just want to make sure you go to the main course page in the upper left-hand corner. There's a student survey that you need to take for this class. Not only this class, I think when you click on that, you'll be able to take it for all your classes. So, and that hasn't been up there. I think I just put it up there today. So that student survey button will let you take your surveys for all classes, and all instructors like helpful feedback, helpful. Even if there's criticism, that's fine, just as long as it's helpful. We actually do use the feedback we get to try to improve our classes. So that would be good. All right, so let's go to 9.2. Right here. Measures of central tendency. Basically, what this section's all about is doing mean, median, and mode. It's kind of like statistics. So this is the statistics part of the course. Mean, median, and mode. So let's take a look at the first question. The length of times of 5 different customer service calls were 3.4, 9.7 minutes, 4.2 minutes, 1.6 minutes, and 1.8 minutes. Find the mean. By the way, does anybody know another word for mean? What's another word for mean in statistics?
Average, right?
Yeah, it's the average. A lot of people don't know that, but mean is the average. And when you find the average, you add all the numbers up and then you divide by the number of items you added. So let's add all these up. And then I'm going to show you how to do this on your calculator. So let's add these all up. 3.4 plus 9.7 plus 4.2 plus 1.6 plus 1.8. When I add them all up, I get 20.7 if I added them correctly. Looks like I did. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. The number of items is 5. So I put 20.7 divided by 5. And my average is 4.14. It didn't say what to round it to, 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places, but this is my mean, also known as the average. In statistics, we call it mean, though. Okay, so I'm going to now show you how to do this on your calculator. I mean, it wasn't too hard here, but if there were a lot of numbers and stuff, you'll see we're going to be using this calculator more often. Um, so let me just type this in first. 3.4, 9.7, 4.2, 1.6, and 1.8. Yes. So I'm going to show you how to use the calculator now. Give me a second. And I know it's going to be flipped, so I'm going to flip it back. So, and I'll write this down here in a second. To put this in our calculator and do it, we're going to go to data. And in the first column, I mean, we're just going to start typing in the answers. 4.2, I already added it in there. Hit enter and so on. So we're going to type in all the numbers. All the numbers started up there. 3.4, 9.7, 4.2, 1.6. So I typed them all into L1. This is list 1. Once you type them all into list 1, I'm now going to just let me get out. I'm going to turn it off and then back on, I guess. So, okay, so I just turned it off and then back on so we can see where we're going to go to. In data, if you look in green right above the data button, it says stat. So to get to stat, the green part, you have to hit second data, which is stat. And then we're going to type in number 1 var stats. Hit enter for 1 var stats. Our data was in L1. The second part, frequency, we didn't have anything else in L2 or L3, no other list. So we leave it here. This is blank, O-N-E. It says 1, but there's nothing there. So if we don't have anything in the second list, we keep it on O-N-E. If I hit enter, and then it says calculate, enter one more time. If you notice right here, X with a bar on top of it, X bar, that's the mean or the average. And the average, it calculates it for you, 4.14. Same thing we just did. So let's do that. Let's go back and write that actually in here. So to do this on our calculator, we're going to go to the stat button, or no, sorry. We're going to go to the data button, data, and we're going to enter the data in list 1, hitting enter every time. Once you do that, we go to second data, and we'll do this again. We'll go to second data button, and number 1 var stats. And this is the mean. The mean is the symbol here. That's the mean symbol, other known as the average, and we get 4.14. So your calculator will do that for you, and we'll do a couple of more using the calculator. I think the calculator is so much easier. But there's not many numbers here, so you can just add them up and divide by the number of items. Here we had 5. And it wasn't too bad, and we got the same answer. But when you have a lot of numbers, it gets a little crazier. All right. Number 2 says find the, oh wait, was there another question up there? It just says find, oh, it says find the mean and the median. Okay, so once again, mean is the average. Median, any chance anybody know what median is? It's the number in the middle of the data. The median is the number in the middle of the data. If you put this data in order from lowest to highest, 1.6, 1.8, 3.4, 4.2, 9.7. Look, the median is the number in the middle. So 3.4 is the median. When you have the data in order from lowest to highest, the median is the middle number. Now, if we have 4 or 6, an even number of middle numbers, we'll see how we do that. I think that's on the next problem. But this is the median. And I'm going to show you that on the calculator because we have this already in our calculator. So the median is the middle number. So when I'm on my calculator, don't forget second data, 1 var stats. Our average was 4.14. But if I scroll down, right there, number 9 says median. The median is 3.4. So do you see how number 9 is the median, MED, on the calculator, and the median is 3.4 for this problem. The same thing we calculate. Median stands for which piece of data is in the middle when you put them in order. Okay, let's try the next question. Um, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of data, and I'm going to put them in order right now. 6.1, 7.4, 8.2, 9.3, 9.3, and 9.3. So to find the average, you would add them all up. Let's add them up. And then divide by 6 because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of data. Okay, so let's add them up on our calculator. 6.1, and then I'm going to verify it using the calculator, plus 7.4, plus 8.2, plus 9.3, plus 9.3. Oh, what? I don't even think I typed in the 9 there. 9.3 plus 9.3. And I get 49.6. I don't know if anybody's following along. Well, I'll check it on the calculator to verify it. So I got 49.6 when I added them all up, and then I'm going to divide it by 6. And I get a mean, once again, mean is the average of 8.266. If I rounded to 2 decimal places, I get 8.27. You look to the right of, if you're doing 2 decimal places, you look at the third decimal place. 5 or more, you add 1 to the underlying number. If it was 4 or less, you would just leave it at 8.26. So I get 8.27 for my mean. Now, it's in order. The median now, the median is the number in the middle. However, there are an even number of pieces of data, 6. So there's 1, 1, 1, 1. Do you see there's 2 pieces in the middle? If you have an even amount of data, you have to pick the 2 middle ones. And odd, there's always going to be a middle. But for even, you have to pick the 2 middle pieces, add them together, and then divide by 2. So I get 8.2 plus 9.3, and then I divide it by 2, and I get a median of 8.75. So this is my mean, 8.27, and my median, the number in the middle, is 8.75, even though they take an average of the 2. So let's try putting this in the calculator. I'm going to go, once again, I got this huge street sweeper right outside my house, and I can't hear a thing. Hopefully it goes away soon. Okay, there's the calculator. We're going, oh, I got to go back because I don't know what the numbers are. So I'm going to go to data. And now I have to get rid of all my old data. So I'm just going to hit delete, 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 delete. And I deleted all that old data. So I have to go back to look at the actual data now, and I'm going to type it in, 9.3, 9.3, 9.3. There are 3 9.3s, and it doesn't matter how you type them in. 8.2, 7.4. I can't see, I'm not looking at it, sorry. Enter, and 6.1. So let's see if I typed everything in correctly. There's my, can you guys hear this street sweeper outside my house? It's so loud. So there's the data. I'm going to hit second data, which is 1 var stats. Our data is in L1. We don't have anything in L2 or L3, so we keep it on ONE. That means blank. When I arrow down to calculate, I hit enter, and I get a mean, once again, average of 8.27 when I rounded to 2 decimal places. And if I scroll down to number 9, median 8.75. So I got the same thing using the calculator to get the answers and actually working them out. So the calculator is a pretty good tool if you type in your data into the list. Everybody okay with that? All right, let's go back to the workbook and scroll down a little bit. Next, there's another central tendency called mode. Anybody know what mode stands for?
Medium.
Well, mode is medium is the number in the middle. Mode is the number that occurs the most often. Occurs most often. And here we have 3.4, 9.7, 4.2, 1.6, and 1.8. Does any number occur more than once? No, there's no number that occurs more than the other. So there's no mode here. However, in example 4, 9.3, 9.3, and 9.3, the mode, the number 9.3 occurs the most often. So occurs most often. So 9.3 is the mode. Mode is the number that occurs the most often. Okay, find the mode of the next problem. I have 11, 11, and 11 3 times. I have 4, 4, and 4 3 times. 9, 3, 8, and 1 only occur once. So there are 2 modes because they both occur the most often. So 11 and 4 are the modes. You can have 2 modes, possibly even 3 modes. After that, if they're all the same, the number occurs the most often. So 9 and 4 occur 3 times. They occur the most often, or 11 and 4. If I had just one more 11, then 11 would be the mode because 11 occurred 4 times and the 4 occurred 3 times. So the number that occurs the most often is the mode. Here, 11 and 4 both occur 3 times, so we consider that 2 modes. Mode is the number that occurs the most often in our data. Okay, mid-range. There's another formula for mid-range. By the way, mode you cannot do on the calculator. You have to just look at which one number occurs the most often, not on calculator. You think it'd be easy for them to just put it on the calculator. Same as mid-range. I don't think mid-range is on the calculator, not on calculator. So mid-range, here's the formula for mid-range. It's the highest piece of data plus the lowest piece of data divided by 2. The highest piece of data and the lowest piece of data, add them up and divide by 2. So the highest piece of data is 11, I believe. The smallest piece of data is 1. 11 plus 1 is 12. Is 12. You divide it by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So the mid-range for this problem is 6. You just look at the highest piece of data add it to the lowest piece of data, and divide it by 2. That's the mid-range. And I'm just going to look really quick, second data, and I'm going to do a 1var stats and just see if it, I don't think it's going to say mid-range anywhere. I don't think so. Minimum, quarter. No, there's no mid-range on there. There's no mid-range. Okay, moving on. So here they want us to find everything. I'm going to type, they want us to find mean, median, mode, mid-range. So I'm going to find mean and median using my calculator. I'm going to type all this in to list 1 on my calculator. So to do that, don't forget you go to data, and I'm going to delete all the data that's in L1 already, and I'm going to type in 6.30, hit enter, 1.75, enter, 4.26, enter, $9, enter, 0.72, enter, and 1.10, enter. So I typed in all my data into list 1. And now I'm going to hit second data, 1var stats, hit enter, enter. And when I look at this, there's the symbol for mean on my calculator. I get 3.855. Median, remember for median, you have to scroll down to number 9. I get 3.005. Mode is the number that occurs the most often. None of these numbers occur more than one time. They're all different. So there is no mode here. No number occurs more than the other. And mid-range is the highest plus the lowest divided by 2. The highest number is $9. The lowest number is 72 cents. And I'm going to divide that by 2. 9.72 divided by 2. And my mid-range is $4.86. So there are my answers for this one. These first 2 were done on the calculator. There is no mode. And the mid-range, take the highest piece of data plus the lowest piece of data divided by 2. And there is your mid-range. Okay, so this section is really not bad. Next section, when we do standard deviation, we're going to be doing it, once again, I'm going to do 9.2, but 9.3 I'm going to do with another class, and I'll post that later on today. And then today is Tuesday. Thursday, we don't have class. It's Thanksgiving. But I will do the test review tomorrow, and I'll post that. So I will, there's a test. By the way, there's a test due this Sunday. So there is a test due. Find the mean, median, mode, mid-range for all of these. I'm going to go ahead and type them all into my calculator. You can actually type the fractions and everything in. Let me, 0.25, let me write these all down so when I leave it, I can come back to it. Or 3/8, 1/4, and 5/16. and then 0.25. So there are 4 numbers I'm going to type in. So I'm going to go to my calculator and type them in. So we're going to go to data, and I'm going to delete all the data in my list 1, and I'm going to type in 0.25 is the first one, hit enter. Except I didn't type in 0.25. I can arrow back up and type in 0.25, hit enter. Now I want to type in 3/8, the fraction. So I'm just going to hit fraction. Oh, they want you to type in the 3 first. 3 fraction 8. Or you can hit 3 divided by 8. I don't think I hit 8 though. It's hard to see what I'm typing in. Is that an 8? Yes, it is. 3/8. So when I hit enter, there's 3/8. Next, I'm going to type in 1/4, 1 fraction 4, hit enter, and 5 fraction 16, hit enter. And now I have everything in my calculator. I can go to data. Oh, I didn't want to go to data. Let me hit. Oh, you can clear L1. I don't want to actually clear L1. So I'm going to try to turn this calculator off and then back on. There we go. All the stuff is still in there in L1. Second data gives you the 1 var stats. And we're on number 1. I mean, if you need to do something else, but we're only going to be going on number 1 in this class, I think. Yes. 1 var stats, hit enter. L1 frequency should be blank. Later on, it's going to be something else. Hit calculate, and there's 4 pieces of data, and there's 4. The average is right there on the calculator. Let me come back so I can write it down. So the average that I got was 0.296875. The median, this is the mean. The median, if I scroll down to number 9, I get 0.28125. The mode, what number occurs the most often? Well, you have to know this, but 0.25 and 1/4 are the same thing. They both mean the same thing. So 0.25 is the mode. That a number occurs twice. 1/4 and 0.25 are the same thing. And finally, mid-range. The highest piece of data. By the way, if you're not sure about that, you can just type in 1 divided by 4 on my calculator, and it gives you the decimal equivalent. Or you can hit the fraction decimal button on your calculator. Where is it? This the fraction decimal button is by second table. The second table. If I hit second table, it changes the decimal to a fraction. See, now it's 1/4. Or you can go second table and it'll change it, hit enter, it'll change it back into a decimal. So the mid-range is the highest piece of data. Once you check it, 3 divided by 8 is the high. Wait, let's see which is higher, 3 divided by 8 or 5 divided by 16. 3 divided by 8 is 0.375. I'm going to just put it in my, just to show you. I know 3 divided by 8 is higher than 5/16. 0.375. But 5 divided by 16, 5 divided by 16 is 0.3125. So this one is a higher number. So the higher plus the lower divided by 2, the higher is 0.375. The smallest number up here is 0.25, and we divide that by 2. 0.375 plus 0.25 divided by 2. And my mid-range is 0.3125. Mid-range is right there. Okay. Average or mean, median, the number in the middle, mode, the number that occurs most often, and mid-range is another central tendency. They take the highest plus the lowest and divide it by 2. It gives you somewhere in the middle, but not necessarily the middle number. Mm-hmm. All right, so calculating GPA, calculating GPA. So we need to know this. Grades, an A is worth 4 points. A B is worth 3 points. A C is worth 2 points when they calculate your GPA. A D is worth 1 point, and an F is worth 0 points. So this is the credit hours of the class. How many credit hours of the class is? Let's say I got a 4 credit hour class, and I get an A. An A is worth 4 points. The number of credits times the grade. You multiply these two together. 4 times 4 is 16 points total. Here, it's a 2 credit class. B's are worth 3 points. 2 times 3 is 6. Here, number of credits, a 3 credit class, and I get a C. C is worth 1 point. 3 times 1 is 3. I should have, sorry, I should have brought this up higher. There we go. B is worth 3 points. 2 times 3 is 6. C is worth 1. 3 times 1 is 3. B is worth 3 points. 3 times 3 is 9. And A is worth 4 points. 1 times 1 credit hour, that's like a gym class. 1 times 4 is 4. If I add them all up, 16 plus 6 is 22, plus 3 is 25, plus 9 is 34, 38 points total. So I add these up, 22, 33, that doesn't, see, that didn't add up right. 12 and 3, or 22 and 3 is 25. Yeah, no, that adds up to 38 points. The total credit hours is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 credit hours. So to find your GPA, you take your total points divided by your credit hours. 38 divided by 15. On my calculator, 38 divided by 15. And my GPA is 2.53. We always take GPA, usually the normally 1 decimal place, 2.5. My GPA, my grade point average is 2.5. Okay, so let me scroll down and see if they do anything else. I'm going to do this on the calculator where we don't have to do all of this, but this is how you normally do it. This is how we did it. Yeah. So I'm going to put this in my calculator. I am going to type this number of credit hours and then the grade. So I'm going to type in the number of points it's worth in list 1, and then this is how many times we count that grade. The credit hours of that grade we put in list 2. We call this the frequency list. List 2 is how many times we count that grade, list 2. So I'm going to put 4, 3, 1, 3, 4 in list 1, and 42331 in list 2 on my calculator. And I don't want to erase it yet. Remember our GPA, we ended up with 2.5. Hit data, and I'm going to delete all my old data in list 1. List 1, I'm typing 4, 3, 1, 4. And I arrow over to list 2, and I'm typing 4, 2, 3, 3, and 1. Okay, something didn't. Oh, hang on. I'm going to show you. I just want to make sure I have this typed in correctly. And it's given me an error. Why is it giving me an error? I'm wondering if I have. Oh, I have one piece of data too much. 4, 3. My data should be the L1 4, 3, 4, 3, 1, 3, 4. There we go. It didn't match up. Now it does. So I want to look at it before I give it to you. And I get something different. Okay, give me a second. Recording. So we checked our credit hours and there were only 13. So it's 38 divided by 13. When I put that in my calculator, I get this 2.923. So I just wanted to look at that. Now I'm going to go to, I'm going to leave this. So remember our average, our GPA, 2.923, because as soon as I go to my calculator, it's going to erase. Okay, so to type all this in, we go to data, and L1, we type in 4, enter, 3, enter, 1, enter, blah, blah. You just type it all in, and then arrow over to L2 and type in the credit hours. Or was, yeah, credit, the first one was how much an A, B was for each class, and then the credit hours for that particular class. And when we do this on our calculator, we hit second data, which is stats, 1var stats, hit enter. And if you notice, I have L2 now highlighted because I have something in my list 2. So when I hit enter and enter, it gives me to the average, which is your GPA. Your average is your GPA, 2.923. The same thing I got, 2.923. So our GPA was 2.923. If we rounded to 2 decimal places, is just 2.9. Remember, A's were worth, A's were worth 4 points. B's were worth 3, C's were worth 2, B's were worth 3, and A's were worth 4. This is L1. The grades actually go into list 1. The credit hours go into list 2. If you do it backwards, I'm almost certain it's not correct. Credit hours go into list 2. So make sure you understand that the credit hours for the class is list 2. Our class is 1332. Our class, this is a 3 credit hour class. If you have a class that's like 1411 or whatever, some English class or something, that's a 4 credit hour class. So this is a 4 credit hour, 2, 3, 3, and 1 credit hour. Credit hours go into list 2. the grades for those particular classes go into list 1, and the credit hour and the grade for that particular class have to be on the same spot in the list. You can't put them out of order, or you'll get the problem wrong when you put it, if you're using the calculator. So they must match up. Okay, so once again, mean, median, and mode. I'm not going to put all that in my calculator. Well, let's see what it was. That wasn't the last question. But we can take a look at this problem here. They may have you do this in the homework. On the test, they won't. They'll just ask what is the mean, median, mode, and all this. But let's look at this for the homework. Do you see XF? That means they're multiplying X times F. They're multiplying. This is X and this is F, the frequency. And by the way, this is list 1. Frequency is always in list 2. You can put all this in list 1 and put all this in list 2 if you want. But what they want you to do on the homework is multiply these two together. 0 times 93 is 0. Do you see 0 times 93 is 0? So cumulative means a running total. So we have 0. There's 0 here, so we have 0. Next, we're going to multiply 1 times 134. 1 times 134 is 134. 134 plus 0 equals 134. So it's a running total. Next, 2 times 9, 298. So 2 times 980 is 596. Let's do 298 plus times 298, or I mean 298 times 2, and I get 596. Well, we have to add 596 to our total 134. 596 plus 134 is 730. Do you see? It's a cumulative total. These two add up to 730. This is my new total. 3 times 165. 3 times 165 is 495. Then I'm going to add these two up. 495 plus 730 is 1225. And so on and so on. You multiply these up, and that's what you get. Now, let's answer the rest of these questions. And I'm going to put this in my calculator here in a little bit to get the mean and the median. But I want to look at the rest of this. So they show you what you get here. We're going to use a calculator to find the mean and the median. Mode is the one that occurs the most often. Mode, the occurs the most often, is the highest frequency. So if we look, 2 is our mode. This occurs 298 times. So our mode is 2. That occurs, the frequency that 2 occurs is 298 times. So 2 is our mode, and sometimes we call it a modal class. But 2 occurs 298. That occurs the most often, so that's our mode. And by the way, you can't do mid-range for this, so yeah, that shouldn't be there. You can't do mid-range when you have a group of data like this. So let's find our mean and median. I'm going to type this in L1, and frequency always goes in L2. So I'm going to type that in L1 and this in L2. Data, and I'm going to delete all the old stuff, arrow over, delete all the old stuff. In list 1, I'm typing 0, enter, 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, 4, enter, 5, enter, 6, enter. Okay. In L2, across from 0, I have 93. across from 1, I have 134. Then 298. 3 is 165. 4, 176, 129, and 55. Okay, so I've entered all my data. We're going to find the mean and the median on our calculator. I've entered all the data in. I go to second data, which is stats, 1var stats, hit enter. You see I have my stuff in L1, but I also have it in L2. Make sure that's highlighted. And when I hit enter again, it goes to calculate. I hit enter again. Then it gives me my average. My average is 2.7657. That's the average. That's the mean. And to find the median, you scroll down to number 9. Number 9, the median is 2.5. Number 9, the median is 2.5. So we already said, I'm just going to write it down. The median of this data was 2.5, and the mean of this data and the symbol for mean is X bar, 2.7657, depending on how many decimal places they want you to take it to in the homework. So there's our median, the number in the middle, and there's our mean, 2.7657. Okay. Find the mean and median. We've already done that. Oh, let's do this one just for this. And it says there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. I'm going to type all in list 1. Oh, this brings up a really good point. I'm going to type all those into list 1. And I'm clearing out my list 2 also. 43,600 into list 1, 44,500, 46,100, 47,300, and 425,400. And we're going to find our average or mean. So I typed everything in. I'm going to go to second data, which is stats, 1var stats. We have everything in list 1, but we're not using list 2 this time. So I have to arrow over and hit enter for the ONE. We're not using list 2. Now when I hit enter, my average is 121,380. My mean is 121,380. So my average is my mean. It's 121,380. That's my mean. And the question is, why is the mean misleading? Well, all the means are 43,000. You see 40,000, 40,000, 40,000. This one's 400,000. It's misleading. 121 is our average. Let's say these are the people who work in a doctor's office. They say the average person makes 121,000, but 4 of them only make 40,000. One person makes, the doctor in the office makes the 400,000, but they say the average worker makes 121,000 in this office. No, they don't. The average worker makes about 40 some thousand. It's the doctor. Why is it misleading? Because the doctor's salary is so high. There's one salary that's so high that skews, it messes up the rest of the average for everybody. That's why it's misleading. There's one salary that is way higher than all the rest, and it makes the average misleading. It makes it off. You know, the doctor could say, "Oh, the average salary in this office is 121," but the four nurses are only making 40,000. So that's why that's misleading. And that's all I had. That was section 9.2. I hope you should be able to get through the homework fairly easy with that now.